Good morning to any replayers. If you're a replayer, you can still participate by tapping on the screen for hearts. You can share this broadcast with anybody that you think would benefit. And of course, follow me if you're new and want to hear more of this content. And if you have any questions, hi Blessed Budgets. If you have any questions, you can, of course, how Becoming Different is Sparky Girl, Reinvest. Follow me on Twitter or Snapchat for questions. Hello, how Treasure for Life. Good morning. So, that's joining live, good morning. Well, I exist on Facebook, but you know what? I haven't really gotten with the program of like creating Facebook presence, I guess. And so I'm slow. I take, it's taken me some time. Oh, thank you. You know what? I got some really nice feedback on yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, I have a spreadsheet that I made. It really has 3 numbers, and I showed it to someone else just live, and he's like, this is just a really powerful way of showing investment and returns and to think about money. So I like that. I think I'm going to do that video. Actually, I need to do Facebook Live so that I can do experiment with that. Anyhow, if you're new to me, my name is joannazarach. Hi, Pinkberry Femme. And I do a daily Money Habits broadcast at 10 a.m. Central Time. Hi, Anthony. At every single day. That's 7 days a week, and I've been doing one. Nice to meet you too. I've been doing one ever since October 19th, so I have the no breaks since then. So I'm very committed to teaching other people about developing money habits and teaching them financial education. And April is Financial Literacy Month, so I really want people to challenge themselves to really take the next step. One of the things that I think people get overwhelmed about when it comes to finances is the amount of knowledge that's out there and what it takes to learn. And a lot of times people will get overwhelmed and they're just, hello. Hi, everybody who's joining. Good morning. I'm really talking today about financial literacy and think about what it is that you can do to take the next step. And I think that that's where a lot of times people get very overwhelmed with money because they feel like I don't know enough, right? And I talk to a lot of people about their own personal financial situation, and I always think that you need to realize what are your building blocks that you already have. Good morning. So always first when you're taking the next step to figure out. Thank you for inviting your followers, Anthony. If you are first, always figure out where you are in your financial journey, right? Finances and financial freedom, or whatever you want to achieve with money, is a journey, and you're going to be at different positions on that journey. And I think that a lot of people get very intimidated. Hello, because they're kind of at the beginning of the journey, right? They are at. Thank you for inviting your followers, D. Holden, 1983. Everybody, here's the thing, we see a lot of people that are way ahead of us. Open breast. You mean a chicken breast? So no chicken here. You have, I think a lot of people feel like they're starting over here, and they look at people who are over here and they're looking at that distance and they want to close that gap really quick. And everybody's looking for shortcuts, right? They just want to get to here. And what you have to realize is you have to build a foundation. Like everyone who's successful with money didn't get there overnight, didn't get there in a week, didn't do it perfectly. And by the way, a lot of people who are successful with finances had a head start. And sometimes I don't think people acknowledge their own head start in life. And they don't accept it, or they're like, okay, I'm starting from nothing. And a lot of times it is you look ahead and you go, wow, that's hello. You look ahead and you say, and then you get intimidated, right? You say, wow, this person's really good at X, Y, and Z, and I'm not. So I can never be where they are. And instead saying, where am I today? Hello from France. And what is the next step? So I challenge everyone to acknowledge their own success. However, you may perceive it to be small or beginning, you would really want to acknowledge that look at the context, right? I see people that maybe not have as much income but have no debt. And I say, you know what, that's actually really significant that you don't have debt. So you may actually see that you are further ahead in some of that, some of those pieces. Should I order lunch? I'm really can't weigh in on ordering lunch. I think it's a choice of what you do with your money. Good morning. Hi, Sandy. How are you? So I really think that, you know, one of the things you do is you take an assessment. Go for it. Go for your lunch if it's lunchtime for you. You can really first take stock of where you are. And I hammer on that like, you know, every Monday, right, about Mint. But really, you need to first take stock of where you are financially, and not just the numbers, but where you are in your financial journey. What are the things that you've already checked off your list on your financial journey? If you're younger, you may not have checked off some experiences or some skill sets. But once you check those off, what I really want you to do is challenge yourself to ask, what's next? Because what we do is we get complacent, myself included. We get very complacent in our financial journey, and then we start actually losing traction of the things we've gained. This is why we talk so much about developing better money habits. Because if you're developing habits, you have less of a likelihood to go back to your old habits. So you need to practice your new habits, but once you have them down, don't feel like, you know what, I've got this. Challenge yourself to go to the next level. Okay, this is why there are different stages or levels. That's right, don't backslide, right? But it's so easy, right? You get stressed, you get busy, maybe you even like start pulling a lever that you're really successful in. This happens a lot with income. When you start being extremely successful in income, hello from Mexico, is when you stop paying attention to other things like spending or even investing. You're thinking, this money is just flowing in and I really need to double down. And some people, by the way, encourage you. And I'm not saying to not really play to your strengths when income generation is a strength for you. But a lot of times what happens is people forget some of the fundamentals and basics that they've already developed. Like if you didn't have those, if you're like, okay, I know that this is a gap and I need support in this area, I understand. I always feel like you definitely can. Hi, how are you? Although your name's a little bit disturbing. And so for people who are, for people who already know, yeah, I'm like, is that a sex bot? Because I'm sure I blocked all of them. And I am crazy with the sex bot blocking. I go in and I'm like, no TNA in my follower list. So, yeah. Thank you for joining. But you know, I think everybody needs financial education. So if you need it, if you're willing to listen and learn, I'm happy with that. Inappropriate sex bots. But you know, there's a real person behind that sex bot. It's just very interesting. I find it very fascinating. It is photos. Yeah, but then like a real person logged on, like a person, you know, like I've tried to do like sometimes think about it. I'm like, there's a person that's doing it. Cornichons, they're delicious. And so, okay, I think, thank you so much, but I think we are going to do, oh yeah, that's a bad, sorry, those are disturbing photos. I'm like, we don't need to see that so early in the morning. Oh. Anyway, back to topic. So financial literacy, so two things, take stock of what you've achieved, make sure you're building on it, right? Sometimes people, I think, is that a sex bot too? I kind of think that. I can't tell. Okay, almost blocked. And so the thing that happens is sometimes we jump to a different part of our financial life. And so we sort of forget other things. So sometimes this is what I'm saying, building blocks. Low-cost index fund that mirrors the S&P 500. Yeah, it is a great place to start investing for sure. Vanguard. I'm a Vanguard. I push Vanguard. I know. I'm a Vanguard pusher. I only do it because they're the lowest fees, and easy to set up accounts. Oh look, I think love Vanguard. Yeah, I've been a Vanguard. I've been a Vanguard investor since 1998, and so I really do support that business model. It does take a little bit more on. It puts more onus on you. Bad credit and low income. So we really need to, if you have bad credit and low income, what you really need to figure out is how to increase your skill set so that you can access a higher income level. And you can do it today more than ever with a lot of education, right? So like with financial education, it's Financial Literacy Month, and there's two edX courses. So edx.org has free financial courses. Two of them are starting in April. One's out of University of Michigan and one's out of Berkeley. And it's a self, you'll get on, you can sign up for free. You need to take the time, right? So if you have bad credit and low income, what you need to address is getting a better skill set that can get you higher income. If you feel like you need money now, you just really need to look around and see what are your opportunities to be able to earn income quickly. Bad credit, it's really the way that it's disadvantaging you is that you don't have access to capital at a lower cost, but you really need to focus on the income piece, because if you focus on the income piece, you really don't need that much credit, right? You don't need access to credit if you're able to satisfy them with earned income, satisfy your expenses. So, you know what? I'm not an individual stock investor, and it's not to say. So I always say that I do own some individual stock. This is how my husband had some. Yeah, you're welcome. My husband had some stocks before I married him, and we just never sold them. So we have some that just are in our portfolio, but I individually haven't bought any stocks except for the Lending Club IPO, and you know how sad I'm about it because the IPO, of course, crashed out, and I'm going to hold that stock for a long time. What I really should do if I was rational and not emotional is buy more of the Lending Club stock. And I really love Lending Club as a company because I invest through it. And so it's just, your classic. So Lending Club is a peer-to-peer borrowing platform. It's an electronic, it's a technology solution integrated with, gathering borrowers and gathering lenders, but peer-to-peer. So individual accredited investors can become lenders to people who are looking for loans. You do need to invest. Okay, so here's how you can determine if your income is adequate. You must say about Ukraine. My grandma actually is from the Ukraine, but she migrated to Poland during the war, World War II. What's the topic? We're talking about financial literacy, and we're talking about building skills in your financial journey. So people are on their financial journey towards financial freedom that you need to build. It's like building blocks. You can't you can't conquer everything all at once, but what you need to do is recognize the skills you have, make sure you're building on them and not replacing it. Yeah, so make sure I talk about money habits and developing better money habits, a lot of financial education, financial literacy on my broadcast every single day, 7 days a week. That's how committed I am. I'm just like a crazy person on every 10 a.m. I do feel like that. I'm like, Periscope is life. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Joyce. Good to see you on here. And so how do you figure out, you have to get an idea of where your money's going. So I highly recommend people get a mint.com account. It's free. It's secure. It's easy to set up. It's, run by Intuit. Please join. I'd share as much of my financial knowledge because, guys, I wasn't born with it. I didn't get someone else to teach me. I literally started learning by doing. I just started really, really early in life because I was interested in it, and I didn't come from a lot, so it was really important for me to have financial security and stability, and I was interested in business and profitability, even though when I was in science back in the day. I usually do Periscope just once a day, but I do it every single day. I have not been getting to my Money Matters Periscopes, which I have been trying to do twice a week at 5. What do you mean about Ukraine? What is it to do to save what I still have? So first, you just need to get a discipline. You need to get comfortable with actually having money. So work on that. See, credit worthiness is really proving to lenders that you're responsible with money, and that's like there's a lot of people who are experts on credit scores, and I would find someone else. I'm not as expert on it. I haven't had to do credit remediation or building a credit score, so I don't talk a lot about it. I know about credit, credit enough, but there are some experts that I've watched on Periscope that know more about it. So I would refer to them, and I need to get a list. I started making a list at some point. Yeah, so you need to have a purpose for your savings, and you need to really get comfortable with having money. Sometimes it's a mindset. Some people just are uncomfortable holding on to money. So at first, you really have to get into your like what is preventing you from holding onto your money. So you need to understand your motivation, and when you have a purpose, yeah, I actually don't know. It's a very limited Ukraine currently, my current Ukraine knowledge. I haven't really been as involved in following international news. Like I've just been wrapped up in my bubble. It's the truth, and so I haven't been following international affairs as maybe as much as I could. Hello from Morocco. Yeah. So what you really need to do, get a sense of is how much money, like holding on to your money is a skill, right? This is a skill in building your financial building blocks. So you need to take steps in improving your financial literacy, but also your financial awareness, right? So having a good habit around, then you just need to learn skills, right? You have an entire life ahead of you, and a lot of teachers out there who will teach you skills, and a lot of skills are mostly acquired by practice. So write it down, right? Like it's a goal setting, right? You have to write down what it is you want to accomplish, and then you need to figure out what's it going to take for you to get from point A to point B. Then you need to have patience, right? Persistence, like all the things that you need. Yeah, great. Yes, Dominique Brown. So you guys, Anthony just gave you a great resource for people to learn about credit, because I know that there are experts on this topic out there, and that's again, it's just not. I mean, it's never too late. What I think is just my own example, but also just a lot of other people. You can learn a lot of skills throughout life. Look at this Periscope. Periscope is not. It wasn't around, right? Everyone stresses. So you need to just find things that you're finding enjoyable, and ways you can contribute. Because the thing is about making money or improving your income, you have to acknowledge that you have a contribution to others. That is, by the way, how you're going to make money in the most sustainable way. So you really think about how you're going to contribute to others, what value you're going to bring to other people. If you start thinking in that manner, instead of like, how am I going to make money, or what do I deserve, what am I entitled to, that's really not the right way to increase your income, because you're going to get kind of wrapped up in yourself. So yeah, so just limit yourself, set a budget, and make sure you're a little more disciplined around where you're directing your money. And also, I tell people to give your money a job, right? So if you're an investor, it really is important to invest. It is. You need to have some discipline. You need to invest. You need to learn about it, right? A lot of people are intimidated by investments, and again, it's a building block. It's just like a next step. But you have to have an investor mindset too. You do. You need a lot of money education, and I do a lot of research. I'm actually, I was here reading this. It's a Suze Orman, and Suze has done some great work in financial literacy. She hasn't necessarily always had the consumer's interest in mind with some of her products that she's been selling, but I respect her for the authority that she's built for herself, and sort of her drive. And so she had a little financially literacy article, I think it was in the Costco magazine. I ripped it out, and she has 5 things that she talked about, in financial literacy. For example, she's like, you have to embrace the importance of delayed gratification, right? Like saving for a future goal. If you're really living, people are like, oh, live in the moment and all that. It's like, okay, that's all great and good, but like when the moment's over and you're left, with nothing. So I'm very much, like long-term thinking. And that's right. You got to make trade-offs, right? Like in life, there will be trade-offs. So it also recognize your needs and what are the means in which you can live in. Again, you can have a richer life, but understand that you're going to have to create more income to cover that. And then, can you say no? Well, that's, move along. So can you say, this one says, can you say no out of love rather than yes out of fear? And so it's really about, do I know anything about TSP? No, like TSP report, TPS reports. I don't know what TSP is. Can you tell me what it stands for? Yeah, well, you have to have a goal. That's why it's important to have goals for your money. If you have a longer term goal, something you're trying to achieve that's a little bit longer term, then I think you're going to be able to, yeah, I don't know either. What is what is the goal that you're trying to achieve? She does have a really interesting thing about the financial advisors, right? We talk some about financial advisors and the role or any role of professionals in your life. And the sentence is like, no, the best financial advisor is staring at you in the mirror. Discipline and a goal, right? Like you got to work towards something, like purpose. Like you have to have your purpose greater than yourself. If you're just indulging in your own stuff, that's, like it's going to be hard to attain anything. So you have to find a purpose that's greater outside of yourself. And you have to look to others to guide you and see how you can match it. Oh, thrift savings plan. Yes, the thrift savings plan is a good. I think that it's, I have to read up a little bit more about it. The match, yeah, I think you should take advantage of it. It's a government sponsored employee contribution plan. You should definitely take advantage of it. And then I always tell people, aim to max these out. These vehicles are well managed. Yeah, it's just something you acquire over time. Even if you're older, there's never too late to acquire wisdom. So around the financial advisor is really looking how to do the funds. Well, look at, I would say look at the lowest cost, like maybe, and if you, I found, if there are different funds, I'd have to look at them and read. You can read. I fund, G fund. I have to look at it. So I'll have to research. I don't know enough about the different funds and what they're composed of. I'm pretty sure that they're is it on the internet? Can you research it? Look into it. I really would look at broad-based market funds. So anything that says index in it is a broad-based or market fund, something like that. And I would imagine that the thrift fund, how to invest in others. Definitely, you need to invest in yourself. You are an asset that generates income, and you can increase your income generation. It's always wise to invest in yourself. I think you need to look at yourself as an asset, and you can generate. You're, by the way, the biggest income generating asset you'll ever have. There's hardly any amount of money, except if you're born into really large wealth, that's going to generate more in your lifetime than you will. Like if you can actually add up all the money you've earned, if you're in the US, that's actually fairly accessible. If you're in the US, you can pull your social security statement. The last column on the right will show you your Medicare earnings. Wise to do the funds investment part. It is wise to do the funds investment. I think you would invest through the thrift savings plan and invest in the stock market funds. It's just you need to have a long-term view for that, and you need to make sure that you have paid off your credit cards if you have any credit card debt, because you can't out earn on credit card debt. And then also make sure you are not dipping, you have emergency funds and all that. But again, it depends on how much your spending is, how much your burn rate, like how much you're spending and what you're responsible for each month. But back to the point, you need to really know about money, whether or not you hire professionals. We can maybe go through that. If like I said, I don't know enough about it, so I'll have to read up about it. Thrift savings plan. And I don't know if anybody scopes about it or has any blogs about it. That's why I would go is see if anybody has a blog about it. I know for military, there's a lot of military bloggers that blog about finances for military families. They might have it in there. I don't know if their thrift saving plan is accessible to those, but I would just Google for blogs that talk about it and see if we can gain some wisdom from that. So, there are lots of free educational courses. So let's see if we can. I'm always happy to learn about some other. And there's a lot of government workers, right? So it's like this isn't some unique plan. So thrift savings plan, I've heard it before. So I would have to research it because I have never participated in it, so having not been a government worker. So no, it can be very overwhelming because the amount of information that's available to us, and it's been made available to us for reasons so we can have more clarity. But people get overwhelmed with the amount of choices and its simplicity sometimes is the best. Pick a fund, stick with it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And that's the thing. We don't need to optimize our money, guys. You can try to do better, but if you try to optimize, a lot of times you get stuck, right? You really get stuck in your finances. So just really just get to the next level. And again, you're not going to get all the way up here. You're not going to be like perfect at picking stocks or anything else. That's why I say, like, I don't even do stocks. Like, I've read the statistics and I read the information. It's like, there are institutions, there are people who put, oh, great. You can talk. Yeah, see if anybody in your HR department, right? Because Joyce has had the government jobs before, so then she's a good resource, and in terms of knowing that you can go to the HR department, so that would be a great place to start. Just like ask them, and if they don't have someone in house, they can maybe refer you to someone, because there's probably resources. You're right. There are probably resources that can guide you through it, or can give you information that's a little more simplified, right? The online the forms that are required are too comprehensive, and they're written in such a language that most people don't understand. I feel like if people were just given like 5 facts about each fund, that would make it so much easier for people. Yeah, right. It would make it so much easier for people to select them, right? But like well, we're not going to get into how sort of the legalities or the law. They can't help you decide, so they can't give you advice in the exact investment. They will never tell you this, but what they should be able to do is hopefully like get you a little more familiar of how you can evaluate it. But again, I think that simplifying things, and sometimes you'll find someone who's be like, well, you could do this, and again, mostly because there's a lot of rules about giving advice for an individual to be put into a specific investment, where you have to be qualified to do that, and you have to pass tests. That's why a lot of people won't give you direct. I won't give you a direct investment advice, right? No, not the side. Oh, not the side. Education. Well, that's tough. So let's. So we'll have to see. We'll have to. Yeah. Well, let's research it. I won't do it right now, but I'll put it on my list. Yeah. Let's thrift savings plan. I'll put it on my list, and maybe we can. I can tap a resource for that. I'll look for a blogger that knows about it, and I'm certain that there's someone who talks about the thrift savings plan, because it's such a large plan. So, but back to like financial advisor, you really need to be your own financial advisor, whether you have one or not. You need to be in charge. If you've released control of the money, you're welcome. If you've released control of your money to other people, then you're no longer in control. Like, you don't have to do all the work. So there's control and there's work. You want people who are going to look after your money, and that's really just the technical piece of it, and not looking for your money, where it's like they're trying to just access it and take it away from you. And that's the difference. Like, there's a lot of people out there who provide resources who are just looking for your money, which means they're looking to figure out how to access either the wealth you've built, because most financial advisors aren't there to help you build wealth. They're there to manage it, and so they're there to access the wealth that you've built, so that they can figure out how it fits into their world. And again, it's not to say that they're not advisors that are well-meaning. It's just that that's actually how the industry is structured. And then some people who are wanting to give you advice are also coming along with some products that they want to sell you. So again, they're looking for your money. So if you haven't built wealth, there's some very profitable products that they may or may not try to sell you. So always know that. Oh, okay. So there's the meetings. Yeah, maybe even go to a meeting that you're not quite the audience for, like the newer retirement meetings. That's a good idea to learn more about the thrift savings plan. So yeah, and the final thing in this article is know that money does not define you. And so, but it doesn't define you, but it can definitely help, right? And so anyway, that's really the message for today. I want you to do 2 things. Is one, reflect on and even write them down. Write down the skills. Like, there should be a skills checklist. Perhaps one should make a skills checklist. A skills checklist of building blocks, because it's not like you have to have all these skills before you go and move to the next level, right? You don't necessarily need to have all of these things to be able to, like, you don't have to have everything together, all your debts paid off before you do investing. But you have to have certain things probably established. Like you'll have to have a bank account, right? Or a job, or, some savings, or your credit cards paid off, right? Before you moved on to the next level. So if they made like financial literacy into a Mario Brothers game, everybody probably would be better off. But it is like that a little bit. To me, it's a little bit like a game, and you acquire these skill sets. So evaluate where you are and then try to level up to the next area, to the next stage. It's very important to not get complacent, because if you've succeeded in something, don't just go, okay, I just, paid off all my debt. Great. Now I can just live a rich life because I did it. I would challenge you to say, go to the next level, go to the next level, go to the next level, which is what I do. I try to get myself to the next level with my, with all the different things that that I've achieved, and say, okay, now what, right? Now what? Now what? What's next? And that's so challenge yourself, but don't forget to acknowledge your own success in life and all the things that you've accomplished to get to where you are today, so you can get to the next step. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today, for participating, for asking questions, and for engaging. And thank you for your time. You're welcome. And I'm intrigued with the thrift savings plan because now that you've talked about it, I've heard of it before. I just am very unfamiliar with it. So I'm always like to learn about new things. And I'm pretty sure, I know this, I'm guessing the structures is not going to be unfamiliar, but the vocabulary and just what it's made out of, I'd like to be able to at least refer you to a good resource and or speak intelligently on the subject. Just enough, just kind of like with credit scores or credit repair. Like, I know enough, but there are probably some people who are more qualified. I'm always happy to have people 10 a.m. every single day. So this time, 10 a.m. Central, every single day, 7 days a week. And I'm on fairly consistently. Once in a while I'm late if I'm in a meeting or something, but I kind of schedule my life around trying to make it a 10 a.m. time slot for 7 days a week. So I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Sunday and talking to you guys about money habits. Thank you again for joining, and I will have a great rest of the day. If you're in the Midwest, stay warm, and otherwise enjoy the Saturday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Sunday. Bye.